a political angle, a lot of coverage, foreign media coverage, covering this pandemic in India in a different manner. You are representing the entire country here and abroad. So how do you defend this? There is some sort of politics is also around this COVID situation in India. So how do you look at it?
Well, sadly, you are right. I wish it wasn't so. But what I can say is, look, again, when it happened in other countries, including UK, when a pandemic hits a society very hard, there are questions, there are arguments, there is a lot of second guessing. You should have seen it coming, we could have told you so, etc. It's not unique to India. Okay, it's happened in other societies as well. In our case, yes, I'm very conscious of our own debate. Obviously, it's something I hear and I'm involved with every day. People have spoken about elections. Now, obviously, we are a democratic country. You don't stop elections in a place like India. The only time I remember we stopped elections was an era which some decades ago when I was very much younger, where none of us really wants to be associated with that kind of memory. Now, we are a democracy, okay? We are a very argumentative society. Now, there will be this kind of point scoring. Somebody will say, this crowd contributed to it. Somebody else say, well, that crowd contributed to it. Somebody will say, well, some individual or leader A didn't wear a mask here. Somebody will say, well, leader B didn't wear a mask there. So I would say when I go out, in my sense, in my view, I think we need to put a pause to it. We have a serious national crisis. The fact is, societies are defined by their ability to come together when you deal with a crisis of this magnitude. It's like a war. What happens when there's a war? People actually come together as a society. So I would hope very much that that's what we do. Now, I realize that when it comes to the press, our press, foreign press, people will focus on us. It's natural. They will not it's people in governance would understand the problem because everybody is been through it, or will say, well, that could be me tomorrow. I think people who say the Indian community will get it because they're worried about their relatives, their friends, their well-wishers out there. But when it comes to the media, there would be media where editorial lines are very strong, where, when I see comments, very frankly, I see a lot of analysis by, by people who write fiction, by people who, who are political commentators. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have a view. Everybody has a right to a view in this country. But I would take very seriously the public health people, the people who would actually sit very objectively and diagnose and analyze why we are facing the problem we are. And the fact is that we are facing that problem because these two viruses, the variants, the 117 and the 1617, they have really hit us very, very hard. And they are far more virulent than the virus strain that we saw last year. If you just look at our numbers. We had, I remind you of where we were in February. At the end of February, we were less than 10,000 cases a day. Today, we are at 350,000 cases a day. Just went up like that. Now, today you can say, well, you should have seen it coming. But let's face it, you and I both live in that same society. We saw societal fatigue with the lockdown. Today, people are urging lockdowns who were opposing lockdowns earlier. I would say, at the end of the day, when I go abroad, I would try to make people understand these are my challenges. this is where international partnerships come into being. Yes, yesterday, most of my meeting with Secretary Tony Blinken was actually devoted to what will be the solutions in India and the solutions abroad. And the heart of the matter will be vaccines.